As 2024 got underway, WWE honestly looked like a company that was on the verge of creating a WrestleMania event that was every bit as stupendous as Vince McMahon forced you to believe WrestleMania 38 was going to be. Genuine megastars had made returns that weren't just shocking, they were at one point completely unthinkable. With the likes of CM Punk and The Rock strutting back into the world of sports entertainment just in time for what was looking like the biggest WrestleMania of all time. Cody Rhodes, Bayley, Rhea Ripley, Gunther, Drew McIntyre, and many more had all been patiently and consistently pushed over the course of the last year or so, to the point where WWE created an organic desire to see these particular faces get their well-earned WrestleMania spot at Philadelphia. But then the wheels spectacularly and horrifyingly fell off. So with that said, I am Gareth, this is What Culture Wrestling, and here is how WrestleMania 40 will ruin Triple H's story. After Rocky's Day 1 return left those banging the drum for a certain story to be finished feeling a tad nervous, that tiny drama and WWE finalising a gigantic deal with Netflix was soon completely overshadowed by the horrifying allegations made against Vince McMahon. From that moment on, a dark cloud has quite rightly sat over just about everything going on in between the ropes. However, horribly handled press conference aside, and don't worry, we will get there, Triple H did somehow manage to restore some of the positive vibes coming out of the Royal Rumble by having Cody Rhodes and the role model Bayley walk out of that show with guaranteed WrestleMania main event spots. Hell, Cody even pointed at Roman. The story was going to be finished. It was a good time. A good time. Hell, CM Punk and Seth Rollins were finally going to get their hands on their precious WrestleMania main event spot too. And the newest member of the TKO board of directors was probably just going to do the right thing and set up a head of the table clash for next year's WrestleMania in 2025, right? Yeah, all that stuff that I've just said, that was what, a whopping 10, 11 days ago? Yeah. Feel old yet? Now, after a legendarily disastrous SmackDown segment, Cody Rhodes' story is not the only one that is in danger of being irreparably ruined at WrestleMania. Even before the Great One seemingly just shoved Cody out of the way and completely undermined one of the biggest matches and biggest events of the year, Papa H and WWE had already made a pig's ear of the real most important story of the year. In what was the first opportunity the company had to openly discuss the horrific allegations found in the lawsuit against Vince McMahon, John Laurinaitis, and WWE, how did Paul Levesque respond to questions about the disturbing subject during the post-Royal Rumble press conference? By admitting that he had not read the aforementioned document, and talking up the otherwise really positive week that WWE had just had because he didn't want to get bogged down in the negatives, is how he put it. Now sure, Triple H did also note that WWE were doing everything possible to ensure the safety of their employees going forward, but the feeling felt by many coming out of this particular presser was that things definitely could have been handled far better, with Levesque deflecting and evading of these uncomfortable but vital questions now becoming yet another self-inflicted scar on his WWE legacy. While folks were less than impressed with the current King of Creative's handling of real-life situations though, at least he was still rewarding faith and giving fans the hotly anticipated babyface triumphs they'd been begging for. Yeah, about that. In the time it takes to deliver a project-shattering people's elbow, Papa H's dreams of adding another terrific chapter into his ongoing creative story were shattered. Before Rhodes ever even pointed to the sign, bizarrely. And just a quick one to say thank you very much for watching this video today, and if you're really enjoying the What Culture Wrestling goodness that we're throwing at you, then hit that subscribe button down below for more lists, news, editorials, lots of good stuff that we've always got coming your way. Though there are definitely some out there who feel that The Rock showing up on SmackDown last Friday night was WWE's way of reacting to the whole heartbreaking CM Punk triceps injury, or their way of distracting away from all this horrible, dreadful Vince McMahon lawsuit stuff. The truth is that this baffling development was actually apparently a part of the plan since January 3rd, and this was back when The Rock originally signed his deal to return home. So why then would WWE insist on having their top babyface win the Royal Rumble at a time when CM Punk versus Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship was still being reported as the other main event World Championship program match thing at WrestleMania? Well, judging from Dave Meltzer's comments on the Wrestling Observer Radio recently, it seems that very few were actually aware of The Rock's impending return to in-ring action, with only the likes of WWE President Nick Khan and Endeavor CEO Ari Emanuel being aware of the plan. It was way above the head of everybody in WWE other than Nick, was how Meltzer put it. So if that was the case, and that is definitely a speculative if at this point, it must be stressed, then it doesn't half make Trips and the rest of his gang look like absolute idiots for committing to the visual of Roman and Cody at the end of the Royal Rumble, like, yeah, this is what we're gonna do, all but confirming a WrestleMania 39 rematch. And even if this all just was part of a grand plan to make Cody Rhodes a new Daniel Bryan type figure, well, congrats lads, because you've also managed to completely undermine what could have been one of the most exciting matches of all time. You've made winning the Royal Rumble feel like a completely inconsequential feat, and you potentially turned The Rock heel for what could be his final ever match in the process. Great stuff, really good. The whole thing just stinks of right hand not knowing what the left one's doing. Like now, not a clue. Could be doing whatever. And it will be a rather embarrassed cerebral assassin who's left picking up the pieces if his poster boy project is shoved further down the card come WrestleMania XL. Hey, maybe we're all just being worked though, and there's a mind-blowing swerve on the horizon at that incoming press conference on Thursday. Is that like tomorrow? The days are blurring. If the miraculous does actually go down and Cody tells Rock to do one in Las Vegas, sure, the whole ordeal's definitely added a bit more fuel to the fires that burn for the American nightmare, but they already would have been blazing even before Rocky tried to get involved and spoil the party. It's also worth noting that the Hollywood megastar has been pushing for this match reportedly with his cousin for quite some time. And while interest in a Rock-Roman clash would have almost certainly still been there in a year's time, perhaps the TKO board member just saw an opportunity to be front and center during what is probably the hottest period since the Attitude Era, let's be honest, and didn't care who he stepped over, Cody or on Triple H, to take it. At this point, the damage has been done, hasn't it? Rhodes could whip Johnson out of Vegas with his weight belt on Thursday, and the story will still be one of WWE once again stupidly fumbling an open goal. The more things change, eh? Will having the most successful crossover wrestling star of all time on your card bring more eyes and money to WWE as a whole? Well, yeah, it probably will. But enough to justify the conversation going from being on an exciting WWE future centered on stars like Tiffany Stratton, Jade Cargill, Bron Breakker, and so many more, and the present top names who have made the promotion what it currently is right now in this moment, to all about Dwayne's game? Well, probably not. WrestleMania XL once looked like an event that would act as both a celebration of everything that Triple H has achieved over the last 12 months, getting multiple babyfaces ridiculously over, making the jump up from NXT the seamless and thrilling one it should have always been, telling logical stories over a long period of time, and breaking all the attendance and grossing records along the way. And it could have also been the beginning of yet another rewarding chapter in his story. Now it just feels like another Rock vehicle designed to get the People's Champion back in the headlines after a few hit-and-miss years at the box office. If Tripp's time on the creative throne has taught us all one thing, however, is that nothing is over till it's over. CM Punk wasn't going to return until he did. Cody Rhodes was not going to win back-to-back Rumbles until he did. Even at a time where there is no scenario where Rock Reigns is not the Night 2 main event at Mania XL is still in play, folks. There are definitely opportunities there for Levesque to deliver some much-needed good, at a time when he's found himself penning so many unwanted paragraphs into his ongoing creative novel in Gorilla 2, even away from The Rock potentially shrugging off Rhodes and Tripp's stories for his own. Triple H still seemingly possesses the power to give Gunther the showcase he deserves at WrestleMania after a well-booked and world-class run with the Intercontinental Championship. Seriously, he's done wonders with him. You never know, he could give Bayley a once unthinkable Night 1 main event spot, as a crowd-pleasing thank you for years of being the ever-reliable horsewoman of her division, and the countless heroes and villains and somewhere in betweens who have carried this product back into the general public's minds. Your LA Knights, Randy Ortons, Becky Lynch's, Rhea Ripley's, Sami Zayn's, Kevin Owens, I really can go on. Surely Triple H will find a way to give all those incredible characters something meaningful to do across two of the biggest nights of the entire year, the two biggest. As last year's Los Angeles Epic highlighted though, ironically, it doesn't matter how much hard work you put into crafting and building one of the biggest and most magical weekends of all time in wrestling. If you blow the ending, very few will likely remember the rest of the story. Do you? Put simply, so many stories are hanging in the balance coming into what is now shaping up to be the most important press conference since, well, the last one. Will a Rocky who once again apparently sucks get his match? And WrestleMania XL become the point where people finally lose faith in the King of Kings holding the creative pen? Or will WWE somehow find a way to have their cake and eat it too, unexpectedly salvaging a road to WrestleMania that's becoming more volatile by the week? Well, we don't know at this point, so over to you, Vegas. Thank you for watching this How WrestleMania 40 Will Ruin Triple H's Story video today. Now go and click on this video right here, which will predict what everyone's going to be doing at WrestleMania 40. It's a good one. Bye bye!